It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd. We are past April Fool's Day. I'm so happy to be past that day. I told you yesterday that I really dislike the day. Today, I for sure am happy to be past it. I am ready to talk to you guys all about the big news from yesterday. Well, we had Vanderpump Villa episodes 1 to 3 drop on Hulu. I watched them. I have so much to share about it. Loved it. We are going to talk about the iHeart Music Awards, where there was a lot of interesting red carpet looks and interesting run-ins that I was a little bit like, ooh, okay. We're going to talk about some former Beverly Hills 90210 stars and things that are happening in their lives, good and bad. And then, well, there's always going to be something else we'll talk about today on Daily Dose of Donna. It's funny when I don't have my notes in front of me. That was like such an obvious intro where I had no notes in front of me. And I wrote notes. Like I have so many notes, but I didn't have them in front of me. So I'm like, we're going to talk about some good things today on Daily Dose of Donna. OMG. If you are worried about Vanderpump Villa spoilers, which I see in the comments already, don't worry. I'm not going to be able to spoil that much for you because it was only the first 3 episodes. So we're just getting to know the cast. There's nothing crazy spoily in it. I mean, there was definitely drama, but I'm not going to spoil any crazy endings for you guys. Yes, we're definitely also going to talk about Jill Zarin on Below Deck. Don't you worry. So before we get into today's show, I just want to remind you guys, or just let you guys know something. I am obsessed with castor oil. So a lot of people are saying in the comments, and they're like, do a beauty thing, do a video where you show your beauty routine, etc. Let me just tell you, my skin is super, super shiny right now, which some people don't enjoy. I love a glowy, dewy look. Castor oil. I've talked about Shalane Johnson before. She's kind of my podcast, YouTube, Instagram crush. She's also a doser. Shout out dosers. And she talks all about, taking care of your body, your health, your skin in your 40s and up. She puts castor oil on her skin. And I've been doing it at night, but I did it before my sunscreen this morning. And then I use a tinted sunscreen. I'm kind of obsessed with the glowy look. Does it look like healthy and glowy, or does it look like I'm in the middle of a panic attack and I'm sweating bullets? That's my question. So I did get a really, really nice comment on YouTube that I saw just this morning, and I want to shout it out to you. It said, stop saying, just saying. That was the comment. Stop saying, just saying. So should I call today's episode Just Saying with Donna Bowling? Because that's a no. Why don't you stop saying something? I can't help it. It's the way I talk, peeps. Just saying. That's Justin Martindale's podcast name, isn't it? Just Saying with Justin Martindale. I love my Justin. Justin was on I didn't listen to the extended yesterday of Jeff Lewis. I did listen to the main show. I know he was on the extended. I did listen to the main show with Shannon Beador. I understand what you guys were all saying. A lot of you guys were saying about how Shannon was like getting grilled by Jeff about the DUI. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Shannon Beador was a guest on Jeff Lewis Live yesterday, and lots of the comments on the Facebook groups that I was seeing were all saying the same thing. They were all saying there is, this is like too far. It's so uncomfortable. Here's what I think after listening to the episode. I have a weird feeling. Yes, I think Jeff pushed it. There's no question. He definitely pushed it. But I have a feeling that Jeff and Shannon they went out to dinner the night before. They always like talk about these, right? They always talk about they do like these pre-dinner or coffee chats before the radio show. Jeff Lewis is also very close to Shannon Beador. She has said multiple times that he was the one person that's always been there for her. I don't think Jeff is out to like screw Shannon over. I think that there was some sort of goal with Jeff's grilling her, which was uncomfortable. Trust me, it was super uncomfortable to hear him continue to talk about it. And Jeff kind of reminds me sometimes of like a little 7-year-old boy or something. He doesn't get, like, read the room, like, move on. But he kept going for it. I think the goal was to really take John Jansen down, because John Jansen is currently suing Shannon Beador for $75,000 of missed payments. They say it's just for the facelift, but the facelift didn't cost $75,000. But it was for a variety of things that she paid, that he gave her money for. I was actually pretty surprised, because in my mind, I always just assume that every single one of those housewives, well, I shouldn't say everyone, because we know kind of like Gina, some of them don't live as, fancy lives. But for whatever reason, I just in my mind assumed that Shannon had a lot of money just because of her ex-husband, David Beador. I don't know what their situation is, but she's lived since she moved out of the house with him, since they divorced. Like, I believe that she's lived in like very nice homes. Like, I don't know. In my mind, I just assumed she had a lot of money. I guess that's just silly to assume. She said yesterday on Jeff Lewis, which is like a pretty vulnerable statement to say. She said, I did not have money to pay for bills at a certain point, because Real Housewives of OC was like extending episodes or switching up their schedule in terms of like filming, and then later on they waited to release the episodes. And I guess with these housewives, the way it works is like, and we should know this now from Girls Trip, the Morocco one, you get paid to film, and then you get paid for the episodes aired, but the episodes actually have to air for that to happen. Anyway, I think that Shannon Beador was actually waiting on some money, did not have enough money to pay for very basic bills, etc. Wanted to get the facelift, because that's what you do when you have no money. Duh. Like, right. And there was sarcasm, in case you guys didn't get that. And then Jeff was asking her all about this, and she basically said that she had a conversation with John Jansen at the time, who said, I wish you could get a low interest loan. And she couldn't for whatever reason. And she said, well, you can give me the money, or something along those lines. So he did lend her money. However, she was mentioning that she's paid for so many things in the course of their relationship. She spent this and this and that. And I think it was I do. Yeah. Where are my keys? Says she's a great friend of Jeff's. She played coy, but clear it was premeditated, and he was leading her to make her look good and sweet while he did the dirty work. I'm not joking. That's what I thought too. I truly, maybe this is conspiracy theory side of me, but I was like, Shannon knows how to play this game real well. Right. And I do believe that Shannon and Jeff, like, they're so tight. They are so tight, and Shannon would never agree to go on his show again if she felt like he took it too far. I am convinced that she and he had a plan. I mean, her daughter was in the room during it, that they had a plan that essentially, had a conversation about, we are going to discuss this, but the goal here at the end of the day is like, remember how much he was pushing her about, well, so John Jansen didn't hear the car crash? Well, that's weird, because we've been to his house, and if you guys got in an argument in the driveway and then you immediately drove off right after the argument in a very, very, like, in a tizzy, turn the corner, which is where you crashed the car, by the time he is in his front door, you would have already crashed the car, meaning he would have heard the crash because it was loud. So if he was walking from the driveway to his door, he would have heard the crash. I think the goal was to make John look bad. And it did. Because then they talked about Alexis Bellino, and they talked about the fact that he says, I'm not a public person, yet he's dating someone who's on Housewives again. Like, there was a lot of ways that I feel like she tried to take him, like they made him look bad. So that's my guess. And then she had a big opportunity to say, like, I messed up. I take accountability. I completely did something that I should never do. I am so grateful that I didn't injure anyone. I wish I could do more community service. Like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. So it really did end up not making Shannon look bad. at all. Did anyone feel like the episode made Shannon look worse? No, I don't think so. Anyway, that was not even on my notes, but we have to talk about things that just pop up into my head. So let me add that too. Okay. Shannon Beador. Oh, you guys, I guess I'm a little discombobulated because I was just listening to Alex Baskin's podcast, Bravo Hot Mic. You know my thoughts on this. I don't love it. But he had Tom and Tom on his podcast. They filmed it after the premiere party. That's all we know. They filmed it after the premiere party, but knowing the show, this podcast, they filmed it like a month ago. It's interesting. A lot of it is like Tom saying, and we can talk about this in just a minute because we'll talk a little bit about pump rules, but Tom saying how I think it's the first time where he really is like, I was such an idiot. Like, I really was such an idiot. I totally got lost in this moment. I completely misread, thinking like I was going to find a way to, get out of this unscathed. Of course, it wouldn't have ever not come out. There's no way this would have ended well. I wish more than anything, the second I caught feelings, I would have just pulled back and figured out what was going on. I was not in a happy relationship. I was very close with Ariana. We were like really, really tight. We were homies, but I was not very close to her. And I just was scared to hurt her. And he's like, I can't even wrap my head around like the way I was thinking in that time. It was a really, really dark time. That was the first time I really heard him genuinely feel that way and say that. So, not in any way trying to apologize for Tom Sandoval, my feelings, but I thought it was interesting. Okay, we are going to talk more about pump rules in just a moment. We do have to talk quickly about our sponsors. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. How is your social battery right now? Are you drained? Are you bursting with energy? I personally right now am bursting with energy. Why? It's a sunny day. I'm going out of town this week. I'm feeling good. I worked out. I'm getting a facial today by my like favorite esthetician here in Los Angeles. I'll put it on my Instagram stories if any of you guys want to really splurge on a facial. She's amazing. It can be easy to ignore our social battery and spread ourselves thin, especially with social gatherings picking up after the winter. Well, what's the right amount of socializing for you, and how do you recharge? Maybe you thrive around people. Maybe you need some more alone time. Therapy can give you the self-awareness to build a social life that doesn't drain your battery. Some people just realize that they're meant to be loners. Do you think that you are extrovert, an introvert, a little bit of both? Do you recharge when you're alone or when you're around a huge group of people? If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Dana, DANA for 10% off your first month. Thanks, BetterHelp. And then my other sponsor is Lola V. Lola V is Jennifer Aniston's hair care company. It's proudly brought to you by Lola V, an award-winning hair care line founded by the fabulous Jennifer Aniston. Hair is so iconic it needs no introduction. Imagine this. Jen got tired of the same old struggle we all face, choosing between hair products that work and ones that are actually good for us. But now that dilemma is history. We all put our hair through the ringer, coloring, heat styling, stress, aging, the list goes on. Over time, it takes a toll, and that's why it's crucial to have products that not only repair the look of the damage, but also shield your locks from future harm. We have a treat for you, Lola V. For our awesome listeners, Daily Dose listeners, for a limited time, you can get an exclusive 15% off your entire order at lolav.com. That's LOLAVIE.com. Just use code DANA, DANA, at checkout. I mean, if you're taking hair care advice, why listen to anyone besides the woman who gave us the Rachel? I love it. I've been using it. I did not wash my hair today because I'm getting a facial and I just know it messes up your hair, but I've been using it and I love it. It smells like a spa. Lola V is bomb.com. All right. Interesting. Okay, let's move on. let's move on and start talking about some of our stories today. Pump Rules. They had their reunion looks finally show, like what's the word? Like publicized, like they released the reunion looks. Do you guys want to look at them? Let's look at them. I actually have to say, I thought, in my opinion, everyone, especially, don't be freaked out here, but especially Katie Maloney. Katie Maloney to me looks stunning. I'm going to show it to you right now. I think that, in my opinion, it's the best she's ever looked. I want to know what you guys think. So we've got Katie Maloney up on the top left here. I think she looks beautiful. We've got Ariana, who again is doing like a cutout situation. It's navy blue. It's like a chiffon. It's okay. I mean, no, I think it's pretty. I'm just gonna be. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm too old for this, but I am not personally into. Let's see if I can zoom into this on this picture here a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I mean, she looks smoking. Her body looks amazing. I don't know how much I love that little like booty short look, but she looks very good. And I love a navy blue look on a blonde girl. I don't know if you guys agree. We've got James looking dapper, although it does look like he's wearing a quilt. He's wearing a pink suit. Guys, I'm struggling with James, and I'll tell you why. I've been watching old school Pump Rules, remember, season 4. And James is such a piece of work. He's such a piece of shit. He's like so skinny. He's so, tiny. He's like so on either definitely drunk, but maybe on drugs, like effing people over left and right. So mean. Remember when he was I mean, I don't believe that Chris and Dodie and him had a positive relationship in any way, but there was the scene where they broke up. And he's yelling at her. He's like, "You're a hoe, you're a skanky hoe." And then he spit on her door. Like, gross. I just find him. So it's hard for me. I mean, I know people can change, you guys, but I struggle with him. Look at Katie up close. Are you joking? Doesn't she look so beautiful? That is a perfect dress for her. Silver and just like the crossover with the boobs coming out. Like, I just think she looks stunning. Lala, I think, looks beyond hot. I mean, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not going to hide it from you guys. I think that Lala to me is one of the hotter girls on the show. I know she may have a different face than she used to. Her boobs look massive. She was pregnant probably already when this was shooting, right? She must have been pregnant already. So maybe that's why her breasts look bigger. But she looks very pretty. I think it's pretty. It's a little like scandalous up top and with the slit, but it's still a little classy. Tom Sandoval. Listen, Tom Sandoval is in a green suit. He looks fine. He looks good. I don't think he looks bad. It's not too obnoxious. It's not too showy. It's not too like depressing or douchey. And then Tom Schwartz looks good. He looks like handsome. Black suit, like a little maroon shirt under. It's looking good. And Sheena looks gorgeous too. Sheena's got more of a cutout situation up on the top. She's got a gold off the shoulder look. Her hair looks pretty. I think everyone looks good. I would like to know what Brock is wearing. Did we get it to see a picture of Brock? Because I'm wondering, was he wearing his heels? Right? Brock wears heels. Does anyone find it so odd? Like, I'm sorry. It's not about like gender norms or whatever. I just think it's a bad look. It just doesn't look good. If Lance wore heels, I would be so like a little concerned. Is it because he's short? Like, why is Brock wearing heels? Need to know. Also, we haven't really talked about this, but should we talk for 2 seconds about Ariana and her brother and how they have this like weird relationship? Ariana's brother has been making the rounds in the press. His name is Jeremy. He's good friends with Sheena and Brock and a variety of different like old castmates, right? Like Jax. He was going to he's engaged. He just got engaged on Sunday night. Last week he was on a podcast live from Jax's, and he said that he hasn't talked to his sister in months, which is weird. Okay. It's also weird that Sheena and him are so close when he's not talking to his sister. Also very weird. Now, on Sunday night, he was at Sheena and Brock's new house here in Sherman Oaks, pouring some champagne with his fiance. Congratulations, he's engaged. No mention of Ariana. No, like there's nothing. Then he talks yesterday to some sort of publication and says, I have not talked to Ariana. I miss her, but it's because there's been microaggressions from her towards my fiance. Like, whoa, what could it have been? I didn't know any more details, but I'm very interested to know what that could possibly have been because I don't know. Interesting. Um, but it's never a good sign. Well, I don't think it's a good sign for Sheena and Ariana's friendship at all. I think they've had actually a really rough season because it looks like Sheena's, Ariana has been on Watch What Happens Live since she's been watching some of the episodes back, and she said, that there's some comments that were made about her from Sheena. We've all seen this season, and she's been like a little offended by them. So my question is, did Sheena and Ariana completely like end their friendship? Sheena is very close with Lala. We know Lala and Ariana have kind of ended their friendship as of right now with Katie too. So like, where does Sheena lie? She's with the brother that Ariana doesn't have a friendship with. It is weird. That's all I'm going to say. Also, last night at the iHeart Radio Awards, was it Radio Awards, Music Awards, our iHeart Radio Music Awards, Rachel Leviss was on the red carpet. She does have an iHeart podcast. Everyone that you listen to has an iHeart podcast. Like literally, Teddy and Tamara have iHeart. Amy and TJ, I saw them on the red carpet. They have an iHeart podcast. Tori Spelling, who was on the red carpet. We can talk about that in a second. So many people were on this red carpet, and it was like, all these big podcast people. So Rachel Leviss was there. Rachel Leviss, I have to say, looked beautiful. Can anyone disagree with that? Like, does anyone think that she's not pretty? I think Rachel Leviss looked very pretty. She was interviewed by a few different interviewers. I'm trying to find a picture while I'm talking to you. So let's see if I can multitask. And I have to say, she was asked a lot of questions, but one of them being, what's going on in your life, like with the podcast, whatever. Here she is. Let me screen share this so you guys can see it. I think that, in my opinion, she's honest. She's like, I don't know why, I didn't realize that I was going to do a podcast. I don't think podcasting is my thing, but I'm really enjoying it. One thing I did notice immediately is that she's absolutely she's much better spoken than she used to be. So I don't know if it's media training. I don't know if it's doing the podcast, the confidence. I don't know if it's the fact that she also mentions that this week on Wednesday, tomorrow, she'll be 1 year sober. So think about that. April 3rd of last year, Scandal broke out beginning of March. So beginning of March, she went to, she shot a couple more episodes of Vanderpump Rules. She shot the reunion. And then she went away. And that's when she got sober. And she's 1 year sober. I am not a Rachel apologist fan. She actually drives me crazy with a lot of the things that I feel like she's still trying to gotcha with a lot of people. It's like, we got to move on from that. But good for her for two things. Number one, the fact that she has broken up with Scandal, with Sandy. She's broken up with him. She's blocked him and she's removed him from her life. She recognized him as being like a toxic narcissist, POS, and she's removed him from her life. And then now, she also stopped drinking, which is a big deal. It's a really big deal. I think that she has in every capacity, she's done what she can to better herself since the scandal has broken out. And obviously, she's going to need to continue to make money. So are you guys shocked that she says that she would participate in another reality show as long as it was ethical? I'm not shocked at all. You guys have to remember who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with star effers. I am not and someone's saying, Mark is saying Rachel is not a victim. Sorry. Did I say that she was a victim? Did I say she was a victim, Mark? I don't remember saying she was a victim. I just said she was being strong and smart to cut out Sandoval and to cut out that energy and to move out of like doing the show. I don't think that that's bad. But I will say that, by continuing to talk about it on her podcast and everything else, I'm pretty surprised that she still is like kind of in the muck. It's almost like she's not getting out of the muck because she's continuing to talk about it. And I wish she didn't do that. I wish she just moved on. But also then again, like she knows where the money is and she knows that that's the only reason most likely people are listening. Meanwhile, just a few minutes later, out comes Katie Maloney. Hold on. I just saw a picture of her really fast. There she is. So Katie and Dana, they have their own podcast. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Something. I don't want to say it wrong. Anyway, I think she'll look better at the reunion, but she looks good. I think Katie seems, confident and happy at this point in her life. Hopefully she is finding her happiness. We all know my thoughts on Katie, but we'll have to, it's called Disrespectfully. Thank you. So we'll have to see where she goes with that. Now, someone's saying she would sue everyone for betraying her, even though it's called Traitors, if Rachel was on Traitors. What is happening with that lawsuit? Have we gotten any updates on that? I have not seen any update at all. I totally do not know what's going on with it. I think the lawsuit was ridiculous. I mean, maybe she had a little bit of a case against Tom. I don't think she had like a real case against Ariana by any means. Now, I need to, last night at these iHeart awards, I've never seen in my life worse clips in my life. Okay. So we're going to start. I'm going to show you just a few because there's only so much I can handle. Jennifer Hudson on the top here, JoJo Siwa, and someone I've never heard of, Peso Pluma. What is happening? Jennifer Hudson, fine. Okay, she looks okay. She could look so much better. Ice Spice, horrible look. Katy Perry, that's a no for me. In some sort of like naked chiffon. She's in a bathing suit. She's literally in a bathing suit with big boots and like some sort of netting over it. Cannot. I don't know who this is. Lato. You guys, I'm telling you, I've really gotten old. Lato. She's wearing something that's, I think, a little too short. Just gonna say. There was a couple more. JoJo Siwa. We need to talk about JoJo Siwa. Someone told me, I don't remember if I saw it on an Instagram post, on a Facebook message, somewhere. Someone said that JoJo Siwa looks like a younger version of Fortune Feimster. And since I saw that, that's all I see now. But this looks like Fortune Feimster if she dressed up for Halloween. What is happening? She's in some crazy, for anyone that's just listening and you haven't seen these pictures, she looks like a goth vampire mix of the guy, the band Kiss, the big tongue out guy. I mean, it's unreal. Like she looks wild. Gene Simmons, Bad Spawn. That's hysterical. It's so out there. Like, who said that this was the move? I also saw a TikTok the other day of JoJo Siwa being like, I'm moving out for the first time in my entire life. So she's moving into like a small apartment. What happened to her house? That's a big candy ball. My husband, Lance, shot Dancing with the Stars and he went to her house to film it. And, that really neon colored, home. I'm so confused. I would be so sad if I was JoJo's mom and this is what I saw. Like, who wants? Okay, whatever. I'll stop. Avril Lavigne. I mean, bless Avril Lavigne for never changing. She literally looks the exact same way she looked when she released her first album, Complicated. Same eyes, same hair, same horrible outfit. This one, Jelly Roll and Bunny XO. I can't. Okay, no words. Guys, I'm sorry. Now, Tate McRae is wearing a Victoria's Secret negligee. Again, we have to see Katy Perry. Jared Leto creeps me out. He creeps me the F out. He's in all black. He looks like Edward Scissorhands. Something about him is shady. Um, let's see if there's anyone that just like jumps out. Like, what is happening? Lainey Wilson, a country star, is in the most outrageous outfit. Do you think they had a theme? Okay, let's talk Tori Spelling because we're gonna have to get into Tori Spelling because there's a lot of oh my god, I have so much like old 90210 news. Tori Spelling is on the red carpet looking, and I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. She's wearing an old man's brown plaid pants that are, cuffed at the bottom with high heel platform shoes, a little crop top tank top. Okay. Let's talk about Tori Spelling for a second. Tori Spelling, she releases her podcast. I talked about it yesterday. She talks about her divorce. Then I get all kinds of juice and DMs from you guys. Shout out to those people that send them to me. I don't know if I can give your name, so I won't. One of the DMs had a bunch of voice notes. This person worked on True Tori about 10 years ago because this is 2014. And I watched the beginning of True Tori yesterday just as a research, just to kind of remind myself what was happening. And the beginning of True Tori in 2014, episode 1 is Tori Spelling revealing that Dean McDermott had just cheated on her for a 2-day bender in Canada. And he has problems and he's an addict and he's in rehab. And so she's at home managing. At that time, she had just 4 kids. She hadn't had a 5th kid yet. And she's cleaning and she's making food for her kids. And she's just all over the place. It was giving disheveled. It was giving depressing. And then I got this DM that said, every single thing that you heard about Tori Spelling and what she mentioned about the dog mess, she goes, it's all accurate times 10. Apparently, they have an insanely, or she did, messy, disgusting hoarder lifestyle. Severe, severe. We all got an idea from knowing that she had these storage units or whatever. Candy Spelling was at that one event in that show when they had a birthday party. She said she was awful. She was mean. And so she kind of understands why Tori is the way she is. She said they went on some sort of trip together and her job was to wake Tori up one morning and she was in one of the rooms with one of her gay friends and she couldn't wake up in the morning and she finally woke up and she's like, all I want to do is just take a Xanax and go right back to bed. And her kids were in the other room. She said the only solace that she had was that she was a 22-year-old girl. So the kids really looked up to her and thought she was really sweet and nice. And she felt like the kids really liked their nannies, which they were pretty much getting raised by. She said that Dean flirted with her and hit on her. This person's opinion. Dean flirted with her and hit on her. And then Tori got really, really pissed off at her. But then the next day said she wanted her to hire her as a stylist. She said the entire story, it's just so wild. The entire lifestyle over there. Another friend of mine said that she went to go see a celebrity medium for some show or for something who said that Tori Spelling's home is a disaster, a disaster zone. She's a completely disgustingly messy. I find it all so just wild how you can have so much access and maybe they didn't have so much money, but I'm sorry for those of you guys watching and listening, you do not need a lot of money to keep a clean home. That is the very basic thing that you can do with no budget. You can clean your own home. So the fact that she's not doing it, it's just so incredibly it's just with all those animals and all those kids, it's wild. It's wild. Sorry, I heard something. Maybe Tori Spelling is here. I don't know, but the fact is that she's doing the show. She's talking all about the fact that Dean has done this to her. And this is before her 5th kid. And now rewatching it, knowing that you wanted to divorce him this entire time, but you're playing this role. I love him and he is my lover and he is the man that I should be with. It's all so just odd to me. Um, that being said, I'll definitely listen. Such sad story about Shannen Doherty. Speaking of Beverly Hills 90210, like alums, Shannen Doherty, she has cancer. She has brain cancer, and she's doing a little bit better, but I don't think she's doing, great. And she just opened up on a podcast basically about her needing to start to clean out all her storage units and all her homes because she believes that she's probably going to die before her mom. And she doesn't want to leave her mom a very, very difficult life and like dealing with everything after she dies. Can you imagine just like even thinking that way? So she has stage 4 breast cancer and it's spread. And she was like, talking about that very openly. And she just wants it to be easier for her mom, you know, after she dies. And that's like the most selfless thing I think you can ever do as a parent. A lot of older people, like the ones that are thinking, not nice, the ones that are thinking ahead and are able to set it up so that their kids don't struggle with like admin stuff and money stuff after they die. But a lot of people don't have that opportunity or don't do it. And Shannon is like very aware. She's very aware that her life is not guaranteed. And so she wants to release her mom for having to deal with that. That is like such a crazy, crazy, overwhelming thought to even have to think. So it made me so sad for Shannon. I'm hoping the best for her. I really am. And meanwhile, Jennie Garth was also in the news because Jennie Garth co-starred on the show What I Like About You with Amanda Bynes on the CW. Maybe it was the WB at the time. I can't remember. Warner Brothers, Channel 5 here in LA. Jennie Garth played Amanda Bynes' older sister. If you guys watched the show, it was my favorite. It was a Friday night show, I feel like. It was Jennie Garth, Amanda Bynes, and Leslie Grossman. Leslie Grossman played Jennie Garth's best friend. She is one of my favorite actresses to this day. I love her. And Jennie was asked about this, the Dan Schneider Quiet on Set documentary. And she says, I just love Amanda Bynes. I would love to see her at any point. I don't think she has any relationship with Amanda Bynes ever at all. But she says, oh, yeah, she hasn't spoken to her in a long time. But she says, I don't want to talk about Dan Schneider again ever in my life. So she's, Dan Schneider also did work on the first season of What I Like About You with Amanda Bynes because he like kind of brought her over to the CW or to WB. And so she knows her. She knows him, obviously, Jennie Garth. But I just find it so interesting. Like if you're Jennie Garth and you were on a show with Amanda Bynes for so many years, towards the end of her, I think it's just towards the end of her like career, her acting career, right? Because it was when she was already a little bit older. It was 2002 to 2006. And I wonder, let me see, Amanda Bynes, IMDb. Did she do anything after 2006? Her last thing that she did was Hairspray. Remember how good that was? In 2007. Oh, it says she was in Easy A in 2010? Huh. I don't remember her in Easy A, but yeah, she was in Easy A with Emma Stone in 2010. So she worked for a couple years after What I Like About You, and I wonder, I'm dying to know what Amanda Bynes is like, what really went down there because it's so sad. And there's a great TikTok creator. She's we've chatted. She listens to the show. Her name is Nat, and she is a like she's gone down the rabbit hole of Amanda Bynes content on her TikTok. So if you're interested in that, go and check that out. Andrew says, why doesn't anyone have anything nice to say about Jennie Garth? This is a really interesting, like, I feel like we've got to deep dive this. Jennie Garth doesn't have the best reputation in Hollywood. That's for sure. And I know this from behind the scenes stuff. I don't know specific stories that she's done, but I just have heard from multiple people that she is not a very kind woman. I know there was a lot of drama between her and Tiffany Amber Thiessen, remember, who was also on Beverly Hills 90210 as Valerie, Kelly Kapowski, Saved by the Bell. I know that there was there's been a lot of stories. Even Tori Spelling mentions this in her podcast. She said Dean and Jenny never really got along, which in my mind means it's Dean's fault immediately. But she said that Jenny specifically had mentioned on that day that Dean really helped. And Jenny is not one to dole out compliments often, is what she said. So it's interesting. I mean, I always wanted to be Kelly Taylor. So to me, Jennie Garth is like goals on goals on goals. But yeah, I've heard this from a variety of people about that she's just not. Yes, Andrew, exactly. She's just not the nicest person out there. It's so interesting to me. I try my hardest to like follow along, but I do think that there's like a little bit of a lack of warmth from Jennie Garth, whereas I don't feel that whatsoever from Tiffany Thiessen. I feel like Tiffany Thiessen, well, I've met Tiffany and she's the kindest. Like she was so, so sweet because we hired her husband on a show that we cast and she came into the, table read or whatever. And she was so kind. And I just think there's something going on. It's really interesting. Also, by the way, speaking of Quiet on Set, before we get into our next round of stories, Quiet on Set is having an additional episode on April 7th. So that's this Sunday. They're going to have one more episode that they shot after the documentary came out. We don't know specifically what's in it. I'm hoping it's more information and not just like more, of the same. But I would love if maybe there was something more, Okay. Jill Zarin was a guest on Below Deck last night. Now, I have not watched the episode because I'm not into this season of Below Deck, but I did see a couple of clips online. If you watched the episode of Below Deck last night with Jill Zarin, please tell me in the comments right now. Jill Zarin was not the primary. So if you watch Below Deck, you know that every single charter guest that comes on, there's a primary, meaning like the main, guest that probably rented out the yacht. I would imagine maybe other people pay their way too, but that's usually like who invites the friends, right? They come in and the guest of the primary is Jill Zarin, Jill and Gary, her boyfriend. And the couple scenes that I saw were Jill Zarin being so over the top, annoying, needy, and high maintenance to the crew. Meaning, so at one point she's sitting, like the one clip I saw, she's sitting at breakfast or at some sort of meal. And one of the guys, I believe his name is Fraser, comes out and just checking in on them. He's probably, whatever, one of the waiters, maybe he's the chief stew. I don't know. And he comes out and he's like talking to them. And she goes, what you should do is the last place I was at, there was a doorbell in the room for the primary, a doorbell. So you could just press the doorbell whenever you needed help. And he was like, I bet they loved you. Fraser is the chief stew. That's what I thought. And Gary just sits there quietly. And then in another scene, she's standing in the bathroom with one of the women that is helping, one of the stews. And she's like, well, in one ship that I was in, each bathroom was fully stocked with toothbrush, with toothpaste, with mouthwash, with soap, with shampoo, with conditioner. Have you ever thought about doing that? She says. And the woman's like, no. And she says in a confessional, the girl that works there was like, Jill is so annoying. Like, get her away from me. I think, to me, I've said this a million times on the show. There's a difference between someone that you enjoy watching and then someone that you'd want to be friends with. I would lose my mind if I was friends with Jill. And I feel so badly for Allie and Gary, her daughter and her boyfriend, because that they're just like going through life cringing. My mom has a little bit of that kind of energy sometimes. Like if we go to a restaurant, there's never the table. Like we will never be sat at the right table. No matter what table they give us, it's not going to be the right table. So we know that when we go to a dinner, we know that whatever table they put us on, like I'm not getting comfortable because I know we're going to move. It's like 95% confident that we will move tables. This is just kind of like my mom's personality. It's a quirk. Judge her or not, but it's embarrassing to be around that. So I think that, she had a lot of demands. She had a lot of needs, and she had to then turn off her comments on her Instagram post where she created like a reel from this experience. I don't think she knew that it was going to be edited that way because she posted about it so positively, but then she had to turn off the comments because people really, really, you know, went in on her. Some of you guys don't think she was rude, but she was very demanding. Some people thought she was completely rude and overbearing, but that's who she is. Um, Sarah says, regardless of who is paying, they should all be on point on a super yacht, a 7-star super yacht. Well, I did not watch the episode, so I don't know if, you see episodes where the crew completely drops the ball and messes things up. And there's a difference there. But if the crew is doing a good job and you're just constantly kind of nitpicking and saying things you could be doing better, it's possible. I think Sarah, I kind of agree with you. She's playing the game. She's assertive. She's like a typical New York Jewish mother. She knows exactly what she wants. Surprise. She's always been this way. If you go back and watch season 1 of Roni, like she's always been this way. She says exactly what she wants. She goes in there. She has an idea. She has an opinion. Remember when she walked in to her apartment in season 1 of Roni and she saw that Brad, her friend at the time, that interior designer friend of hers, had like redone her apartment and she didn't like it. And she walked in and she's like, oh my God, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. So I don't know. I just find her like she makes for good TV, right? We can all agree for that. You may not want to be her friend. You may not want to ever serve her. You may never want to be like on a yacht with her, in a hotel room with her. But I think you guys are all talking about it, which no one really talks about below deck like that on a day-to-day basis. After the episodes, usually below deck is not one of those things that like takes over the Bravo blogs. So she did her job. We can say that, right? She did her job. All right. The next story is going to be sponsored by Dr. Motion Socks, my compression socks. Dr. Motion is a wellness brand that makes socks. They exist to support and enhance their customers' everyday lives with comfort and wellness. They have mild compression socks that are designed to be used every day by everyone to keep their feet healthy, happy, and comfortable. And so to be an everyday brand, they design their products to fit flawlessly into your daily outfits with styles that range from basics with subtle details to bold and fun. Their everyday compression products support any activities through a diverse range of everyday products. Compression ankle to knee-high socks to tights. So make sure to check out drmotionsocks.com to find socks that work for your body, for your feet, for your legs. If you're going on a big flight, if you're going to work, if you're going to work out, if you're just going to go hang out. My favorite part of this entire, ad is that it says they're graduated compression tights. Remember, they have short socks, medium socks, and then long like tights, right? That go all the way up to your waist. It says that it has flat seams to reduce chafing and increase durability. And this is my favorite. It has a cotton gusseted crotch. Yep, I said that. A cotton gusseted crotch to improve motion and keep the area cool and dry. And who doesn't want a cool and dry crotch? Okay. drmotionsocks.com. That's how you do it. Their spring summer collection just launched on their website, and go check it out. And the final sponsor of today's podcast is OneSkin. There is nothing like feeling confident in your own skin. That's why I have to tell you about today's sponsor, OneSkin. Their products make it easy to keep your skin healthy while looking and feeling your best. No complicated routine, no multiple step protocols, just simple, scientifically validated solutions. They treat the symptoms rather than the root causes of aging. Most people treat the symptoms rather than the root causes. Most skincare available in the market is designed to provide a temporary reduction in visible signs of aging, and it just addresses the surface symptoms. But what OneSkin does is that it goes and deals with the root causes using science. So they combine tissue engineering, data analysis, and cutting-edge longevity science to create the world's most effective product to target skin aging. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. So get started today with getting 15% off using code DAILYDOSE, DAILYDOSE, one word, at oneskin.co. Daily Dose at oneskin.co. And then make sure they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show, Daily Dose of Donna, and tell them that I sent you to get some skincare, baby. All right. Vanderpump Villa premiered yesterday. 3 episodes dropped. You have enough time to go to Hulu and watch your 3 episodes back to back. Bingeable. It's very bingeable, like what's it called? Buying Beverly Hills was last week. You can get through it. But the nice thing is that and I actually wish Buying Beverly Hills did this. I don't know why they did this. I like it when they drop not all the episodes at once. So they only drop 3 episodes. Episode 4 comes out next week. Episode 5 comes out the following week. So you can kind of catch up and then get into it more. I don't like when all the episodes are dropped because like Love is Blind did spread out a little bit, but you get so into it. You get so obsessed. You watch it all and then it's over. Buying Beverly Hills was like such big news for 2 days and now we're not talking about it at all anymore. So I think it benefits the people on the show if they spread it out. Or like the interest in the show, don't you guys think? So Vanderpump Villa, first off, I will say, is one of the most beautiful locations that you can see. I'm going to show you a picture of the cast because I think it's kind of interesting just to see what they look like. This is, not the best quality picture that I could find online, but I did find it, just to see who the cast is. Obviously, we have Lisa Vanderpump in the middle, and she is running this villa. This villa is not her villa. They've rented out this gorgeous villa in the south of France to kind of create her own business in this villa. I imagine, I imagine they just rented it out like you would any sort of event place. But she brings in the staff from all over the world, basically, to come in there and work on helping the guests. Think of this show as Below Deck on land. That's really what it is. Each episode is a new new group that comes into the house and stays there, the bed and breakfast situation. And they plan games and they plan events and wine tasting, etc. And I think that for myself, I love it just in general because it's just such a pretty location. And if you guys agree with, if you feel that, that when there's a nice location on a show, this is why I love Summer House or Summer House Martha's Vineyard. When you're watching a place that's pretty and you want to be there, it makes it all just so much more scrumptious. And Lisa Vanderpump, call her whatever you want, but I think that she's absolutely like one of the smartest business women ever. She clearly knows how to produce a show. She's executive producer of this show. She knows how to cast a show because this is a great cast right off the bat. And she knows like how to make things look gorgeous. I truly believe that she has her hands on this villa and she has her hands in the decor and the dress and the flowers and the food. And I just think that she is just amazing at what she does. I mean, right? She's amazing at what she does. So the staff, we've got like a bunch of different people. The people that really, really stood out in these first couple of episodes, I would say on the left here, we've got Hannah, who episode 1, I was like, oh, she's cute. And by episode 3, I was like, I hate her. She used to date this guy over here, Marciano. Marciano comes in. I'm like, oh, he's a good looking guy. And by the end of episode 1, I'm like, he's worse than Jax. He's 10 times worse than Jax. Marciano is a very good looking man who used to date the girl Hannah, but cheated on her multiple times. He says in his interview or in his confessionals that he does very well as a bartender in Vegas. Apparently, according to Lisa, he was brought in by Steven, this guy right here, who's the manager or the event coordinator. He was brought in by him because he's one of the best bartenders in Vegas. But then we find out from Marciano that they've implemented a new policy at the restaurant that he works at in Vegas because he's slept with so many of the employees. Okay. fun. So immediately we can feel red flags from him. Episode 1, he's already, the first episode, they're kind of just showing them the ropes. And then they say, tonight is for you guys. You can all go and drink and you can have fun. And sure enough, Marciano, he drinks. Okay. He doesn't just drink a little bit. He ends up getting completely hammered and just acting like an idiot. He immediately is talking back to Lisa. She's like, are you guys going to work your ass off tomorrow when the guests come? And he's like, eh. She goes, no, no, And then he also talks about they go around playing a game, like a truth or dare type of game. And he talks about his best first date ever. And he says it was with Hannah, who happens to be sitting right next to her, because she gave him the best hand J. I'm like, can I say this on YouTube? In the world. Okay. So he's a jerk. He's a disgusting jerk. And we see more of that in later episodes. This guy, I need to remember. Hold on. I need to pull up the cast names because there's so many of them. And when you're just watching a new show, it's like you don't know all the names yet. Okay, so we've got Hannah here. Grace. Grace is so cute. Grace is which one is she on the camera? I think this is her. She's either one of these two girls on the side. She plays, I think this is her, the shorter one right here. She plays she's a housekeeper on the Vanderpump Villa. She's come from, she didn't have a lot of money growing up. So she's very humble, very sweet, very likable. I really like Grace. She's one to watch. But she's a housekeeper. Cinderella story is really what they're kind of saying about her. Then we have hold on. We have Andre. Andre right here, back here. He's the mixologist. And he is a tall, big dude, 6'4", very handsome. The girls really like him, but he's such a teddy bear, like the sweetest guy ever. He basically is talking about the fact that his mom was a huge fan of Lisa Vanderpump and his mom just passed away. And he gets really emotional in one scene when Lisa is saying about how he did such a great job. He got he had he had a great scholarship for Texas State, and he lost his scholarship from an injury, and he was really bummed about that. But then he just has grown over time, and I just think he's such a star. And then we have right next to Lisa on the other side is Telly. Telly is also a mixologist, bartender, and she is I love her story because she was born to a single mother from Jamaica, and she has raised herself from poverty to affluence through hard work and grit. She's very ambitious, but she definitely is an opinionated and outspoken person. And in the second episode, Marciano and her go head to head, or at the end of the first episode, where they kind of fight over they're drinking on the job, which is just not a good idea. And they get in a fight and she pushes him. But it ended up being okay because Lisa gives her an ability to, apologize and show that she will do better, which I just thought, I really like her story. I'm into it. We have Anthony, the executive chef, which there's always going to be drama with the chef. And then Caroline is also a sous chef, and she's got some attitude. There's definitely some shit going on between her against the other guys. Sarah says, I love Andre. That's our teddy bear more than Donna loves Craig. Fact. You sure about that, Sarah? Andre is, he's just a sweet guy back there next to Lisa. We have another housekeeper, Emily. She's also adorable on this side. We're still getting to know Emily and Grace. And then, of course, Hannah. Steven over here, he's the events coordinator, along with, what's her name? Gabriella, who's right here. They're both the events coordinator. It's very important for them to, showcase the events and do a really good job for Lisa. We know that Steven talks about the fact that he was the first, let me get this right. He was the first LGBTQ member in the Air Force. That's not possible that he was the first, but I just remember he did say he was in the Air Force. So he was an Air Force veteran. After a medical discharge ended his dreams of a lifelong military career, he found a new career in the high-end service industry. But the problem is he brought in Marciano. So we're going to have to see what happens there. And then finally, let's just shout out. There's a couple of other people. We have this guy, Eric. Oh my God, this Eric douche. He is so annoying in episode 3. It says he makes it a point to always put his best foot forward in his professional life by putting events. He also works out, does martial arts, is a doggy daddy. He's from Ohio, but he definitely comes in a little bit annoying in this 3rd episode. He's going toe-to-toe with Lisa and trying to take over a little bit, which she does not appreciate. And then the last one before I move on from this is, her name is Priscilla. And she's right here next to the chef, and she's adorable and pretty, but she gets into it with Hannah because she just happens to be sitting next to Marciano with her legs a little bit open with shorts on. I mean, ridiculous, so stupid. But she is a Brazilian bombshell, and let's see, she has a sense of humor. She doesn't take herself too seriously. She's enjoying her life. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a show to watch. I know that it's not as popular as anything else right now, but for me, I'm all about Southern hospitality. I'm all about, like the first seasons of these like wild shows. These are the best. When you get these young, fresh, green, not used to being on TV type of personalities on a show, I find it always ends up being so much better because you find that like, they're just wild. They're number one, they're all drinking, right? So it's just, it makes for crazy shit that happens. But also, like, none of them understand the wrath of being on a TV show. So they're not acting for cameras. They're just literally being themselves. I find it super interesting. And it's in a gorgeous location. And you see this like beautiful food and wine and like this villa that I want to like live in. So someone, please get me into that villa. Okay, so go and watch Vanderpump Villa episodes 1 through 3. I think I'm going to get some guests on the show, so I'm hoping for that. And then make sure to watch the next episodes as they come out because we'll definitely be talking about them each and every single day. Tonight, Tuesday, we have The Valley. We have Vanderpump Rules, which we're going to talk about. I did see an article, by the way, about Brittany and Jax. And by no one's surprise, according to insiders, this is a completely fake storyline that they're broken up. And I believe it like 100% that it's fake because I heard a portion of their last episodes talking about the Valley and they're just laughing, which you do, right? When you break up with your baby daddy and your husband and you move out, you just like laugh with them. It's like so funny. So funny. I don't believe it for a second. I did see one thing really quickly before we wrap about Brittany. Brittany, I don't know where I saw this. Someone posted it somewhere. Don't forget, because I'm watching season 4 when Brittany just shows up to the show, right? Brittany went to SUR and posted it on her Instagram in like 2014, 15, whatever, before season 4 when she met Jax. She went to SUR and she posted a picture on her Instagram being like, oh my gosh, I'm at SUR. She knew the show. She knew Vanderpump Rules and she was excited to be at SUR. And she took pictures like Peter or something. I can't even remember. She removed those Instagram pictures from her account, but it was still up on her Twitter feed. So people still were able to sleuth this out. Now, meanwhile, she goes to Vegas, meets Jax, and comes on in. She knew exactly who Jax was. She was a fan of this show. If anyone out there thinks Brittany is just like all a piece of cake and perfect and sweet just because of her Southern accent, don't forget that Brittany would be willing to probably do anything to be on TV too. Just want to remind you guys, all these people signed up to be on a reality show. Makes me question. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for subscribing. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, guys.